Hello? 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 Is it working? Man, you can see all my wrinkles here, huh? Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt here at NoBossNinja.com. If you're listening, I was just looking at myself in the camera, looking at my wrinkles. If you're watching, you got the pleasure of seeing that. So, No Boss Ninja is the show where I talk about business type stuff, and some days just whatever the heck I want. Most days, whatever I want. Look, I make notes. Look at my notes. I write down four things, and then I just kind of like go on about them. I don't care. If you want to watch, you can. If you think it's stupid, go watch someone else, whatever. But today I'm going to talk about being busy because I was trying to think, what do I talk about? And then I was thinking, I don't really feel like doing anything today. So I'm going to talk about what I do when I don't feel like doing anything and why that's okay. Does that sound absurd? I think most people might be like, yeah, Matt, doing anything, not doing things is totally cool. Like, why would you not be okay with that? But for me, I tend to feel really guilty when I'm not doing anything. That's just how I'm wired. And I think part of that's psychological. I'm going to tell you all about that. That's in the notes here. But first, let me say something to those of you who are busy all the time. Don't let the people who are not busy, who are lazy, get you down. Like, don't let them guilt you. It's cool to be busy. It's not cool to avoid issues in your life, but it's cool to be busy. So if you're like me and you feel like you always have to be doing something, those losers who are like, you should just need to take it easy and, whatever, screw them. Don't listen to them. It's okay to be busy because it's like the normal, natural human condition, right? We're wired to be out hunting and maybe plowing the fields or what, I don't know, whatever. We're wired to be building something and surviving. We're not wired to be like sitting around drinking beer or cerveza or whatever. And but it's totally cool sometimes not to be busy. And I think that's hard for me to get through my head. And especially on days when I feel like I don't want to do anything, there's like a definite guilt trip that goes on in my head. I don't know if it's from childhood or from my parents or whatever weird influences, but I feel super guilty about it. Like, oh, Matt, you're such an underachiever. You're such a loser, which is absurd. I think most people don't think that about me, but I certainly think that about myself. So if I don't feel like I'm at all times doing something, I get this kind of guilt trip. So why do I feel that way? Why do any of us feel that way if you're like me? I honestly think part of it's good. Like, part of it is the desire to be productive and to be creative and create things. And then part of it's not so good. I think part of it is avoiding issues, whether it's just negative emotions or deeper stuff, like just filling our lives up with busyness and things to do. We have to get this done, or we have to be thinking always about this project. And it might sound morbid. It has to sound morbid because what I'm going to say has to do with mortality, but I think a lot of us are just avoiding the human condition. Like, we're just avoiding the fact that we're going to die. That might sound like really out there, but I think it's true. I mean, we go through our lives trying to avoid the fact that someday we're going to croak and we're not going to exist anymore. And that's just the absurd weirdness of our condition. And in many ways, it's good that that exists because it like motivates us. It's sort of like, well, listen, I only have this many years if I'm lucky here in the world, and so I better get some stuff done. But then on the other hand, it's something where we can build up a lot of defenses to avoid it. So we might go through our lives like trying to be busy all the time, or occupy our minds so that we're not stuck on that kind of morbid fact of our own death. So it kind of depends on how you're looking at it. And you might think that that's being too deep, but I think if you really trace a lot of worry and fear, that's really what it comes down to, a lot of like avoiding that stuff. There's a famous psychologist who wrote about this, and I'm totally blanking on who it is right now. So maybe if you're more intelligent than me, which is not that hard, you could comment somewhere or email me and let me know who that is. What's the book called? There's a book, it's called like Fear of Death. Is that even the right book? I don't know. Let me know. I like to pretend like I read these books, but I don't. I just know the titles, and then I kind of bring it up to try and sound smart. The glasses help too. I mean, you see, like when I put these glasses on, if you're watching, I'm much smarter than when they're off. Um, Also, just trying to like avoid being at peace with yourself. It's sort of the same thing, but I wonder how many people get to retirement, like they work their whole lives and then they turn however old they are when they retire. When do people retire now, like at 100, and then they're like, oh crap, I'm still not happy. This still totally sucks. That would be awful, but I bet it happens a lot. So instead of doing all that work, you have to wonder, like, should I just kind of chill out, meditate a little bit, learn to be at peace with myself? It's easier said than done. There's a lot of things on my mind right now with my businesses, some stuff with various partnerships. Every once in a while, a problem will come with employee. Nothing today. I'm lucky to have cool employees, so they pretty much know that I'm not really doing anything. And it's hard to avoid those problems. It's easy to say, oh, you should just be at peace, you should meditate. It's a whole other thing to actually do that. But I think there's something to it, right? If you want that serenity, you can find it right now. You don't have to wait for yourself to have a bunch of money. I'm looking up, there is a bug on my wall. So it's hot as hell here in Texas right now. It's in the middle of July for those of you who are watching at a later date or listening at a later date. And it's in the evening. The sun is pretty much about to go down, and I think it's still 100 degrees. And two, in Texas in the summer, you get these freaking bugs that come in. Even it has nothing to do with whether you live in a nice place or not. There's the bugs, like these, we have in Texas these huge cockroach type creatures. We call them water bugs, but they're cockroaches, and they just don't give a shit. Like if you see them on the wall, and you kind of like make a gesture like you're gonna scare, they'll just look at you like, what the hell do you want? Like, get the hell away from me. That's a detour, but yeah, there's like a little bug over there, so I'll go figure that out when this is over. What did I write here on my notes? I don't know. Oh, overwhelmed. Yeah, I definitely tune out when I'm overwhelmed. So I guess we're going to move to the point of me being lazy today. One of the reasons I do that is I'm just overwhelmed, and I bet you might be the same way too. Like I just will give up. It's kind of like there's so much crap coming in, I'm going to give up, and I think though that's okay. Like it's cool to take a break. So this is the opposite of the first point. It's okay to be busy, but maybe not so busy that you're avoiding stuff. But it's also cool to just chill out and take a break. Now it's flying and it landed again. I'm not going to stop this video. I'm just going to like let that bug do its own thing. All right. But yeah, it's cool to take a break, like read a book, regroup, think about things. In fact, sometimes I have my best ideas about life, about business on those days when I've decided I'm not doing anything. So for what that's worth, like maybe you can still be productive by not being productive. Is that an excuse? Is that my brain trying to be productive instead of just like taking it easy? I'm not sure. So for me, it's tough. Like the worst thing that you could do, I would actually go insane if you trapped me on a resort. Like those things like that people pay to go on where you get free drinks and you're on the beach. I would go insane on one of those. I would not be able to stand it. Oh, here comes the bug. You're ruining my video, you freaking bug. I'd not be able to stand the resort. I would rather have 500 of these bugs around me than be on a resort. And I kind of mean that. Like I've been to Jamaica twice for family events, and both times when I left, it was on like one of these resorts where you get all the free drinks. It was like getting out of prison for me. I hated it so much. So, but anyway, it's cool to tune out. It's cool to regroup, read a book, let whatever part of your brain activates when that happens, like let that take over. I'm like genuinely scared about this thing attacking me, so I'm going to turn the video off soon. But hey, listen, if you're feeling lazy, go ahead and be lazy, but just not for too long. If you're being overproductive, chill out sometimes and let yourself kind of take a step back and philosophize about your life. And I'm going to kind of end the video on that note before this thing like attacks me. So this is Matt McLaughlin at NoBossNinja.com. You can check that site out if you like hearing me ramble about stuff and complain about bugs and whatever. This is kind of what I like to do with these because if you don't like it, you can just go watch somebody else. And next episode or check-in tomorrow, I'll probably talk about something dealing more with finance or investing or something more weighty. But today I just wanted to talk about how I'm being lazy. Please like this video. Please subscribe. That would be really cool. If you're listening on a podcast, you can subscribe there too. All right, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Have fun being lazy.